Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this video we are talking about the worldwide Blu-ray debut of a horror anthology TV series that I feel has existed in the shadows for far too long. We're talking about Ghost Story, aka Circle of Fear, making a region-free Blu-ray debut from Australia's Via Vision Entertainment. I say this series has existed in the shadows for far too long. Are you guys familiar with Ghost Story? Because I am not. This is a 1972 to 1973 anthology series co-created and developed by William Castle and Richard Matheson. Now, these two guys are giants of genre entertainment. William Castle made a lot of different kinds of movies. He made film noir. We talk about William Castle here a lot. He made film noir, he made westerns, but he's most known, most loved perhaps for his gimmick horror movies like The Tingler, like 13 Ghosts. Those of us who love Vincent Price, who love a certain kind of 60s camp classic horror variety, that's what William Castle did. And Richard Matheson is, of course, the author of I Am Legend, which has been filmed multiple times. The Last Man on Earth, The Omega Man, and then, of course, the Will Smith movie. He wrote Duel, the Steven Spielberg telefilm, the television film Duel, that kind of launched Spielberg's career into the next level. Richard Matheson and William Castle co-created this series, and it is so high in pedigree. I can't believe I've never heard of this. I can't believe that this is not something that's been on in syndication. You know, we have Twilight Zone, we have Outer Limits, we have Night Gallery. These are all incredibly well-respected series because of the people that made them, because of the writing. They're cult classics. This exists in the same sphere. This was on television while Night Gallery was on TV. William Castle, Richard Matheson, you guys, Jimmy Sangster, the Hammer horror screenwriter, he wrote 5 of these episodes. Some of the best Hammer horror written by Jimmy Sangster. In fact, I would say if you narrow down your Hammer list of like the most prolific, most well-known writers for Hammer, Sangster's probably going to be your number one. He's got 5 episodes here. There's an episode written with DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison. Star Trek, the original series fans, those guys wrote an episode of Ghost Story, aka Circle of Fear. Now, why the 2 titles? Well, the 2 titles because Ghost Story is the first iteration of the show. It has Sebastian Cabot, who was the voice of Bagheera in Disney's The Jungle Book. He was also in The Time Machine, the 1960 film version of The Time Machine. So many of us know him, like my generation, I think knows him best for his cartoon voice work. But again, genre film actor, so many credits to his name. He is the operator of this. His character's name is Winston Essex, and he owns this palatial hotel. It's like this mansion hotel on the coast. Of course, it's like California, but every episode, you know, he's like, welcome, I'm Winston Essex, and he always has a cigar. Every single scene, he's got a cigar. I'm Winston Essex, and welcome to my hotel. We have people coming from all over, and of course, they bring stories with them of hauntings and ghosts. Of course, I don't believe in ghosts, but my guests might tell you differently. Here's a story of Sharon and William, and then he'll tell a story, and then there's your anthology, and then they'll cut back for the end of the bookend, Rod Serling style, right? And they'll cut back for the end of the bookend, and he'll say, you know, well, we'll never know what happened after we leave the story, but I will tell you that they're in room 202 or whatever, and now here are scenes for the next ghost story. Well, that existed for I think 13 episodes, like 12 episodes and a pilot, which was written by Richard Matheson and is very creepy. The pilot is about this couple that moves. It's a new couple having a baby, new house, something's in the house. Very simple premise. And with a TV budget that was, 70s TV budgets, microscopic, like boop, super microscopic budgets. They make so much out of tension building and the way they tell the story. I feel like that's kind of a lost art now. Like modern horror movies tend to just resort to jump scares. But the art of building tension, paying it off, paying off, it's something that I don't think a lot of people do these days. And I think maybe it was used by necessity by a lot of these writers because the budgets weren't there for some of this stuff. What you don't see is far scarier than what you do see. What your mind can create. This is something Hitchcock knew. What your mind can create is so much more effective than what, especially a 70s special effects team could create. But so the pilot, there's about 13 episodes of Ghost Story, and then it was not a success. So Screen Gems it's a Columbia production through Screen Gems, which is now, of course, it's all owned by Sony. They rebranded the show. They dropped Sebastian Cabot from it. So we no longer have the welcome to the hotel. We no longer have that. Now it's just Circle of Fear. They rebranded it Circle of Fear. It gets, I think, 9 more episodes. It's 24 episodes in total, 23 episodes in total. And it's kind of like 2 distinct series, but they're the same thing, the same creative minds behind all of it. They're just trying to find something that makes it work. And I've told you some of the writing staff behind this, but the acting, one of the big appeals. Sometimes people say, oh, this movie's just like this other movie, and this movie's just like, nothing's new. I say a lot, nothing is new, but it's in how you do it. And sometimes I just want to see the people behind the scenes. I want to see how they write it, and I want to see the actors, how they play it. That's a big part of the appeal for retro TV fans, is just watching these actors perform. And so, you guys, listen to this cast list. Of course, it's Anthology, right? So it's every episode rotates. Jason Robards, Janet Leigh from Psycho, Helen Hayes, Angie Dickinson, Policewoman, Gina Rowlands, Jodie Foster, Geraldine Page, Martin Sheen, John Astin and Patty Duke, husband and wife team John Astin from the Addams Family, Carolyn Jones, also from the Addams Family, Susan Day, Stella Stevens, and Karen Black. Trilogy of Terror, Karen Black. And it says, and more, and many more. And there are actually many more. Every single episode is like, it's the guy from The Thing. Not the movie The Thing. But the more of these old TV shows and movies that you watch, you just see the same people popping up on all sorts of different things. Can I tell you a secret pleasure that I had watching this show as well? As they filmed, so I'm watching, it's on sets, right? And I'm like, this looks like the Warner Brothers backlot. Like, I'm now at the point in my movie and TV fandom, I can be like, is this the Warner Brothers backlot? I recognize this building. That pavilion is from the Warner Brothers backlot. And I'm like, but this is a Columbia show. How can there be a Columbia show through Screen Gems on a Warner Brothers lot? Columbia wouldn't film on Warner Brothers, so I had to do a lot of digging. And then, of course, I discovered that in the 70s, Columbia Pictures and Warner Brothers forged a partnership where they could both film on the Warner Brothers backlots for television shows, and they would call it, in the credits, the Burbank Studios. So if you see a credit for the Burbank Studios, that's the Warner Brothers backlot. And I know it so well from like Dukes of Hazzard. I grew up with Dukes of Hazzard. There's an episode, I'm like, this is Enos's garage. Like, I know we're in the garage, and then like, oh, and there's the City Hall. I'm like, oh, Boss Hogg's gonna be in it. Like, I just know these sets. And this of course predates that by several years, but I thought that was very, very cool. Again, this is the appeal. It's not necessarily, well, that story's terrifying. It's not necessarily that. It's watching creators create and watching casts, watching actors perform. And then where they do it, how they do it, that becomes the appeal at a certain level. And this show is a goldmine for that very thing. It's making its Blu-ray debut. There was a previous manufactured on-demand DVD set from Sony. They burned it on disc, on DVD, and they released it manufactured on demand. Of course, this is now high definition on Blu-ray. It looks really, really good. These high definition masters are fantastic, especially for a show. This era is probably what when shows would look the best, because they're shot like on 35 millimeter. The colors, you're talking about 70s camera technology. 70s TV is synonymous with high production value. They just look really good. And of course, those actors, all those performers are another big selling point. But this comes from ViaVision Entertainment. I asked ViaVision, who did send this to review. They sent it to me to review. So thanks to ViaVision, I have had a blast discovering this series. For horror fans, this feels essential. Again, not necessarily because it's going to terrify you, but because we love the people that make this. And this is made by people we love, you know what I mean? So I'm recommending it heartily, and I want to thank ViaVision, but I asked them if there was, this is region free worldwide. I asked them if they had any recommended sellers outside of Australia, because, JB Hi-Fi, even there's several different Australian vendors, but they said just recommend that people order directly through Via Vision. So that's what I'm going to do. You can look for your own anywhere you want to, but the official recommendation is to order through Via Vision. I'm going to put a purchase link in the description of this video down below, and you can click through there. I'm really excited about this series. It's one of those things, as I say, I'm just not familiar with it. I think I've asked around, and a lot of you guys are also not familiar with it. Those of you who are under, about 50, it's just not something that I think we grew up with. It's not something that was on television in the 80s and the 90s. Especially not compared to its brethren, its peers, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Night Gallery. I feel like Night Gallery is always on television. It's always on those broadcast channels now, or like the cable, like the on-demand channels. I feel like Night Gallery is super accessible. I don't think this one is. So support these independent voices of horror production. You guys, William Castle, Richard Matheson. That's an endorsement, right? Like that, for those of you who follow this channel, who love what we do, what we talk about, you already know this is for you, right? So it's very cool. By the way, I should at least show you the package. It's a clamshell Blu-ray case. It has 5 discs. Each disc gets its own tray and hub. It's not really reversible artwork, but I will say that it does have interior artwork that has the episode list, a listing of the episodes on it. And there is a special feature. There was a ghost story. Let me read this so I can get it right. William Castle's Ghost Story, audio tracks from the original story LP. So there was a Ghost Story vinyl record, an album, with little short stories and creepy things on it, and that is presented as a special feature, the audio from that. So it's very, very cool. I gotta be honest, I have not finished the complete series yet. I'm about halfway, and I just love it. They don't all... It's an anthology, so some of it works for people, some of it doesn't. We're going to connect with different things, but just the idea of it, when I put this on, it's like comfort food. It's 70s TV, it's actors that I care about, and it's producers that made some of the entertainment that I love to this day. So, guys, Ghost Story, aka Circle of Fear, now on Blu-ray. If you do pick this up from Via Vision Entertainment, please let them know that Serial at Midnight sent you, so they know that we have referred you their way. That'd be really good for Serial at Midnight. Thanks for hanging out until the very end. I would love to know what you think about this series. Do you remember any of these episodes? Have you seen this? Have you bought this Blu-ray box sets? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Guys, thanks so much. Take care. And until next time, I will catch you later.